Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Marvel's WandaVision. This time we are on episode 4 of season 1, and last time we had a bit more with Geraldine. We had a bit more info with Geraldine, a bit more screen time with her, a bit more presence, and she was there helping Wanda when Wanda all of a sudden got pregnant. She used her, I think it's safe to say she used her own powers to actually get herself pregnant, and then she managed to have twins too. She had twins, so yeah, with the kids, I don't know if they're going with their own storyline or if they're actually going with the way, like, however the whole kind of family children storyline went in the comics or not. But in this one, she does definitely have twins too. And yeah, I think that was the whole thing. That was a very, very quick thing. I think, given Wanda's powers and her kind of urgency to actually, for her and Vision to become parents and for her to have this like next stage in her normal life, it did kind of, be very, very quick and take place over the course of a day. But by the end of it, Geraldine kind of made herself like kind of blew her cover. She kind of blew her cover when she pointed out they were twins, and then Wanda was like, "Oh, I used to be a twin. I used to have a brother called Pietro." And then Geraldine busted out the big chops with, "Oh yeah, your brother was killed by Ultron, the big bad robot from way back when, wasn't he?" And then that is something that no one else should really know, especially in this alternate reality that Wanda has created. It's something that no one else should be able to mention. So as soon as she mentioned that, it's all hands on deck. Wanda's suddenly uber suspicious of Geraldine, and stuff. So yes, I think Geraldine, she must have been like an undercover agent or something sent in by Sword, because she had like a sword necklace and everything, and she was also fairly suspicious to the other neighborhood people like Agnes and Sherb too, because she didn't really have a home, she didn't really have family, she didn't have any kind of background that anyone knew of. She suddenly showed up one day and she was Geraldine, and that was it pretty much. So she wasn't like the others in that sense. I mean, the others also had their own suspicions, like they were fake, because I think Sherb and Agnes were about to say like, "Oh, she's here because we're not real, we're not actually here, we're just living in some kind of fantasy that Wanda's created." And then what, Geraldine being really Monica Rambeau, she's the only real person there, so she has to kind of blend in with her own cover. So I think, yeah, as soon as so then Wanda booted Geraldine. Wanda actually literally kicked her out, literally blasted her out of the kind of television realm and back into the real world again, where we see that the village that Wanda, the town of Westview that Wanda has actually physically taken over, has been quarantined off somewhat and is being monitored, presumably by Sword and stuff. So we saw the people that Geraldine is that Monica even is likely working with. So I think now going forward, now we actually might see we actually might meet the organization. We might meet Sword. We might even get to meet thingy. I think Jimmy Woo. I think is Randall. I was about to say Randall. Randall Park is the actor's name. Jimmy Woo, Agent Jimmy Woo is the character's name. Jimmy Woo and Darcy as well. Darcy from the Thor movie. So they're both going to be in this. So we should be close to seeing them now as well. So that's going to be fun. But yes, I think now we're actually veering more and more into what is typically kind of Marvel sci-fi drama-esque kind of territory now, because now we've had like a fair enough amount of the pure sitcom stuff, but now we're actually moving closer into the fact that okay, as much as Wanda wants this to be real, it's really not. There are other forces at play here. This is a bigger problem than it is an actual kind of happy-go-lucky kind of fantasy. So, and I think we should also see what Sword is like how different they really are from Shield, and how much more well equipped they are to deal with something like this, and to see what Sword's all about and how close it is to its comic book counterpart. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, and then we had the another Easter egg, a TV commercial for Hydra bath soak, and I still haven't. I don't recognize that from anywhere. I mean, I don't know if that's an actual reference or if it is just like them trying to pass off like everyday items, like a toiletry or something, as like a Hydra item, like a Hydra bath. So, because I think the stuff from before made sense, like the Stark toaster that was that ticked away like a bomb, the Hydra watch that was struck her, and everything. So this one, the Hydra, I mean, it might just be like a general Hydra reference. I mean, last time I thought it might be, in relation to Wanda and Pietro's treatment at the hands of Hydra, because they were the sole survivors of the experiments. But I don't know. But I'm curious to see what we're gonna get now, and if we're gonna get anything now. Because I think now now we're actually getting a glimpse of what the world outside is actually like outside of Wanda's bubble. So now. And we know that they have their own little old-fashioned TV, so they are watching. That they are actually, peering into Wanda's world through like an actual sitcom kind of format. So I do wonder if we're still going to get those commercials, or if it's going to be something else. But now I think it's going to be like a nice enough kind of mix of both Marvel sci-fi and WandaVision. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. But now I think now we should see more of Monica as Monica, like Titiana Paris playing Monica. Not to say she wasn't great as Geraldine. She was really, really fun to watch as Geraldine. But now it's gonna be good to see, who is Monica Rambeau? Where is she now? How far has she actually come from all those years back from Captain Marvel? So it should be fun. So now we can move forward with WandaVision being parents and the people outside trying to save everyone. So, yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from the last one. So on to episode 4. This is going to be the highlight reel, as always. So if you guys want to catch the full-length reaction, watch the entire episode unedited along with me, then that reaction will be over on Patreon. So you can go check that out over there. But yeah, that is it. So WandaVision, Season 1, Episode 4. Let's go.
Lieutenant Trouble.
Lieutenant Trouble, that's what Carol calls her. Oh damn. Oh, she came back. Oh, she was dusted. That's her reforming. Oh damn. Wait, tell me Maria, tell me Monica's okay. Maria, tell me Maria's okay. Maria was in hospital. Maria was a patient. Oh, tell me Maria's okay. Oh, oh, come back to life and someone immediately knocks you on the ground. Oh no, tell me Maria's okay.
Maria died 3 years ago.
What?
No.
Which was 2 years after you...
Oh, after she got dusted.
After you disappeared.
Wait, so she died during the blip? They killed Maria Rambeau? What? What?
Captain Monica Rambeau.
Captain Monica Rambeau.
Hayward.
Director Tyler Hayward.
We haven't aged a day.
And you look old as hell.
Maria Photon Rambeau.
And you're the first to report. Can't say I'm surprised, Captain.
How are the numbers for the astronaut training program?
Dismal. Lost half my personnel on the blip and shifted away from manned missions and refocused on robotics, nanotech, AI.
Ah, AI. Hey, be careful now. We know what happened with AI last time. Be careful now.
Response on that door.
James E. Wu, FBI. Would you mind repeating your claim about Westview to my colleague here?
No such place.
No such.
You're saying the town of Westview, New Jersey doesn't exist.
That's what I keep telling your G-man here, but he won't.
So what's the board then?
I'm sorry, what town are you from?
Eastview.
East. Polar
Thank you,
opposites,
Sheriff. I'll reach out if we need any.
So Wanda takes over a whole town and just gets wiped off the map. Just like that.
Why haven't you gone inside to investigate?
Because it doesn't want me to.
Doesn't want you to.
You can feel it too, can't you?
The kind of deterrence.
Nobody's supposed to go in.
Ah. Oh, the helicopter. That's a different one though. Yeah. Well, it's different-ish. Oh, now she sees it. Yeah, it's like a TV screen. It looks like the actual pixels of a TV screen.
What is it?
Whoa.
Captain Rambeau. Watch it.
Oh, is she being drawn in?
Rambeau.
Whoa. Oh, she
Captain
got
Rambeau.
she got sucked in.
Captain Rambeau!
It absorbed her. Hey, Darcy! Look at her in her glasses and her cute little beanie. Yeah. Yep, they've pretty much quarantined the place off. Sword response base, yeah.
A colossal amount of CMBR.
CM.
Cosmic microwave background radiation.
That's what comes from TVs, right?
We've been told the radiation is within a safe limit.
It is for now. I got it. I need a TV.
Yeah.
An old one, like not flat.
Yeah, like 50s, 60s, 70s, that kind of thing. Oh, is this the beekeeper?
Yes, sir.
No, this isn't the beekeeper. No, this one looks different. And he's not surrounded by bees. Are there bees in the sewer? I don't know.
What is that? Who's doing that?
Oh, that's Wanda, isn't it? That's just a... Yeah, it's Wanda and Vision. So they discover now that it's a TV show.
Looks like her.
Yeah. Okay, after this is episode 1. Yeah, it's episode 1.
Look, I know it's been a crazy few years on this planet, but he's dead, right? Not blipped. Dead.
Yeah.
So you're saying the universe created a sitcom starring 2 Avengers?
It's a working theory.
Pretty much. Well, at least less the universe and more one of the 2 Avengers. Yeah.
Great work.
Hey, thanks.
Great.
Maybe I
Darcy's a
can get that
gem.
coffee now?
She's a gem, yeah. So she's taking notes. She's the one taking notes.
Abhilash Tandon as Norm.
Oh, so they were given fake names too. Yeah. So it's real. Yeah, it's real people within Westview just given new identities, new
Harold
lives, new
Foster
names.
Jones.
Cast as Beverly.
Who's Dottie? I want to know who Dottie
John
is.
Collins Herb.
John Collins is Herb. Who's Dottie? I want to know Dottie. Is she the real Dottie from Agent Carter, or is she someone else? The noodles.
Why'd you colorize it?
I didn't.
So things
Set the show on the
are actually black and white in there. Yeah. Imagine having that kind of vision, black and white vision. Must be crazy.
Wanda. Who's doing the C, Wanda?
Yeah, he's the one asking.
I'm here to help.
It's over. Mission failure.
We'll get him
Worth
next
a
time,
try.
don't worry.
Good effort, Doctor.
Yeah, come on in.
So did Wanda blow up the radio in an effort to turn it off? Is that what happened? Oh, this guy must be the beekeeper then if he's still going, because it's in that same episode that we get the beekeeper. Yeah. Yep. Okay, that's how we get the beekeeper. Okay. Okay. Oh no. Oh, they've lost the connection. Oh no, they've lost the connection.
I can't believe Wanda and Vision are having a baby. Heck, I thought about it for sure. A little Jimmy Woo. Get him a tiny little FBI badge. Oh yeah.
Oh, I love this duo. I love it. Yeah.
Twins.
Mm-hmm.
What a twist.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm invested.
He was killed by Ultron, wasn't he?
Did she
It's
just
hard
say
not to be. Oh
Ultron?
crap.
Has
Yeah.
that happened before? A reference to our reality?
No, never.
Breaking the fourth wall right there. Mhm. Oh.
Not my neighbor. And you're definitely not my friend.
Oh no, Wanda, no.
You're a stranger. And I want you to leave.
Oh. Yep, she literally just got booted out. She literally got power blasted out. Yeah. Oh.
What?
Whoa, that's dead vision.
What is it? What's wrong?
That's dead vision.
It's all Wanda.
Oh.
Is it all Wanda? Oh damn. Oh damn. Oh boy, okay. This was a whopper. This was a whopper. Very, very heavy hitting kind of episode. And I'm gonna go right off the bat. This is what I want to talk about first. This is what I want to talk about first. One thing I did not want from this show or from this story as a whole is a dead Maria. That was uncalled for. Dead Maria Rambeau is completely uncalled for. It was completely unnecessary. I don't know why Marvel or Disney, Marvel and or Disney thought they had the kind of audacity or thought they had the right to do something like that. Okay, killing Maria Rambeau was uncalled for. It was unnecessary. You know, it provides no story value. It's just something completely unnecessary. You know, and even then, she dies during the blip. She dies 2 years. I think they said like 2 or 3 years after Monica actually disappeared. So in this one, we actually get something similar to Far From Home. Like Far From Home was where we first saw an actual visualization of people disappearing and then reappearing 5 years later. So in this one, we actually saw, you know, the dust actually reforming to, you know, coming together to reform Monica again in the hospital room, and then she actually was running throughout the hospital and finding other people like reforming even quicker than she did, and stuff. So that was pretty much the birth. That was pretty much the blip, the return where when Bruce snapped his fingers and everything. So that was that. But yeah, and then I mean, I figured Maria would. I figured, okay, if Monica goes, maybe Maria goes too. Maybe, you know, like, I mean, she said that she was in surgery, and apparently it went well. So I thought, okay, maybe she disappeared during surgery. Because I think, again, given the way that the snap happened and all the people it definitely could have affected, you can't help but think exactly in what situations people would actually blip away too. So, you know, of obvious kind of assumption being, okay, maybe she was blipped away and maybe she'd come back too. But then the doctor tells Monica that Maria's dead from cancer. That the cancer came back. The cancer came back. She beat it. I don't know if she beat it once. There was no confirmation. But I mean, Monica claimed that from her perspective, that she was told the surgery went well and she was, you know, doing whatever. But then apparently in the 2 to 3 years after Monica blipped away, Maria didn't even blip away. Maria didn't blip. So then that means that she was one of the survivors, but then she still died to natural causes straight afterwards. So we get no more Maria Rambeau. We don't get Maria Rambeau anymore. That I don't think I have to tell any of you how unnecessary and how hurtful and how uncalled for that is at the hands of Marvel Studios. That is beyond unnecessary. It's like, you know, because then, you know, that means that we definitely get no Carol reunion. We definitely get no Maria and Carol and Monica reunion. That is the last time. I mean, wait until Carol hears that crap. We didn't... There's honestly so much I want to say, and I don't know what to mention first or what thought to express first. It's just, or like which emotion to express first. It's just like, you know, because then it makes you wonder, like, okay, one of the problems that we had with Carol returning even after after 5 years in Endgame was that, okay, well then, you know, because then that also then raises the question, like, you know, like, would Carol have actually sought out Maria and Monica afterwards? Like, would Carol have known? Because, I mean, knowing Carol, she would immediately want to know what happened to Monica and Maria during the snap. You know what I mean? They didn't show that in Endgame, but, you know, after having watched Captain Marvel, after understanding their relationship together, you would think that, you know, okay, Carol would instinctively want to make sure that Maria and Monica are okay. So surely Carol would go check on them, even if it was some BS, like being off screen. Like she'll still go to check on them. So then she might find out that, okay, Monica got snapped away, but then Maria was still a patient in hospital suffering from cancer, and she was still kind of alive, at least for now. So then that reunion, like, we don't even know if, like, whether or not to happen. Like, we have to wait until Captain Marvel 2 to find out if that happened. And even in this, there's no mention of Carol. Like, Monica doesn't mention Carol. Like, the sword dude doesn't mention Carol. No mention of Carol whatsoever. You know, like where she is, what she's doing, or anything like that. So I don't even know. I do not know. Just Maria being gone, Maria being killed off like that, just doesn't sit right with me. Does not sit right. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's natural causes, so you can't really blame a lot, apart from the people who made her die of natural causes, the writers, of course. But yeah, Maria just being gone like that just doesn't I mean, I think it's an easy thing to say. Oh, cancer sucks because it does, and then you have to kind of. I think that it's like an easier way to, I think it's a somewhat easier way to accept like a loss like that, because some people can beat cancer, some people can't. So you just have to kind of, just deal with that. But no, just Maria being gone just doesn't sit right with me. Doesn't sit right. I mean, yeah, it doesn't. It really doesn't. It doesn't. And I think the one piece, I think they gave her like a Peggy Carter-esque kind of background, because they actually revealed that Maria built S.W.O.R.D. from the ground up. So that's like, it reminds me of Peggy Carter, like how Peggy worked with Howard and the rest of the kind of SSR portion of the US government to actually build S.H.I.E.L.D. back in the day. And stuff. So yeah, so with this one, like, Maria helps actually build S.W.O.R.D. from the ground up, and also like Maria knowing Carol, knowing the Kree, knowing the Skrulls and stuff like that, she would actually have fairly first-hand knowledge of what kind of space threats are out there, and that is, pardon me, that is pretty much what S.W.O.R.D. is. That is pretty much what S.W.O.R.D. is. So it's they actually deal with stuff out in space and on Earth. So I think their primary focus is in space. Their primary focus is on extraterrestrials, and especially they were also kind of somewhat founded within the wake of the blip as well. I think he mentioned it was in the wake of the blip when like space threats with Thanos and the Infinity War and everything became more and more prominent, and people were forced to become more aware of it. They actually figured that, okay, S.H.I.E.L.D. is gone, now we actually need something to deal with these things, like a new agency that's like from the get-go, because with S.H.I.E.L.D. they started off as like a Earth-based intelligence agency, and then over time they were introduced to all these other different powers and existences. So then like they had to become aware of it. But then S.W.O.R.D. from the get-go is aware of threats on Earth and space, and also threats from space that can come to Earth. So that's pretty neat. So Tyler Hayward is the acting director, and then we have Captain Monica Rambeau. That's very nice. And I think I also noticed the plaque on the wall of Captain Maria Photon Rambeau too. So they actually have her, even with Lashana Lynch actually having being that version of her, like from like the younger one from the first Captain Marvel. So they actually have her in like a wall of fame of some kind. So that's cool. So like she her being one of the founding, or like her being one of, if not the founding member of S.W.O.R.D., she very much deserves to be up there, so that's cool. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to get over this anytime soon. That is something that really caught me off guard. The way the Doctor was talking, I thought the worst that could happen was, maybe, because even though the snap brought everyone back around the same time, that was it. It was around the same time. It wasn't everyone all back in one go. It was like, one person and the next person, like one at a time. People started actually reforming, and we see that with this as well. Like in Monica running through the hall, and people are like reforming all around her, and even one guy she just knocked straight onto the floor. Like that is like the one split-second moment of kind of somewhat comedic undertone, for me at least anyway. One guy reforms and then immediately bumps into Monica and falls to the floor. So yeah, and I think even the perception of people from the blip is very, very instantaneous too. Like for them, it's literally just like a few minutes, an hour at most. Like even Monica says, like, I must have dozed off. It can't have been more than 20 minutes though. But no, she was actually gone for 5 years. And even with Peter told Iron Man in Endgame, like he was like, I must have dozed off because when I came back you were gone. So like people literally feel like they've just been asleep, or maybe they just passed out for a couple of minutes or something, and then they come back and they find out just how much time has passed, and even in that time other people have died too. So I think that's also like an interesting kind of, and I think especially with Maria's passing being of cancer, it makes you wonder just how many people actually would have died too, because then especially people in hospital too, because I think patients would disappear, but also medical professionals would disappear, so you don't have to wonder how many people would go by, even with the resources being somewhat doubled, but then the population and then the consumers being halved. you'd have to then wonder like how many people would still die because there just aren't enough doctors or nurses or surgeons to operate. There aren't enough people to save, so like there aren't enough people there to help save lives. And then, you know, like Maria could have, I mean, they said the cancer came back later on down the line, so, but then yeah, you have to wonder like how many people weren't there to actually catch it early enough or to help her defeat it early enough. So then, you know, like it makes you wonder that too, like how many people would have still died from natural causes because even the people actually, you know, destined to save lives just weren't there, like not just Avengers, but just everyday people. So yeah, it's like that kind of perception really fucks with your head. Like almost like the more you think about the snap, the more you think about just how much could have actually gone wrong and stuff, and how much more could have gone wrong, and just how many types of people would disappear and how many situations would occur and stuff like that. So yeah, but I think just Maria. I think, you know, and I think also that's really sad to think about it. Like she dies. Like I don't know if I don't know if she. I mean, I don't know if she actually would have seen Monica die. I don't know if she would have actually seen Monica disappear, but maybe she would have actually known about it, or at least, you know, just been aware of it in some way, and then down the line she dies without her daughter too. Like, again, the more you think about this stuff, it's just heart-wrenching. Like she dies presumably alone, or maybe just by one person by her side, but her daughter isn't there. For all she knew, she could, like, for all she knew, Monica could have died permanently. But then, you know, like, the acting director Tyler dude did say, you know, your mother made you gave you this much power to do this stuff, to work with sword, because she knew that one day you'd come back. So I think it's like a mixture of like fear of her daughter having died in the first place, but then also just kind of trying to fighting to maintain hope that she'll come back. So then I think Maria. I mean, how old would she have been then? Because I think she would have been like I don't know, like middle-aged maybe, or just over middle-aged. Because I think there's no kind of, you know, gate as there's no gatekeeping when it comes to cancer. It can hit anyone at any time, so that's scary enough as it is. But then with Maria, you have to wonder, like, did she really manage to live a life before that, or like how much did she actually manage to do for sword and for her daughter and for like this kind of work before she went, or how much did she actually manage to accomplish? And I think, and again, mainly it's just like, please tell me that like she actually managed to reunite with Carol one last time, especially in the events of the snap. Like the events of the snap calls for like a friend and family reunion. That calls for a reunion to make sure everyone's okay and to actually do like a head count of how many people you know are actually still alive. And then I think then you can't help but wonder, did Carol know about her cancer? Did Carol know about like all these different things that need to line up? And then in Endgame, it's just like no references, no mentions, no nothing. So it just makes you wonder, like, you know, like what actually happened? Who spoke to who knew what? But I don't know. I do not know. But, God, thinking about Maria Rambeau being dead is giving me a headache. It's literally giving me an actual headache. So you can tell it's a very, very poor choice of storyline writing. So, yeah. So yeah, Sword does exist out in space. I don't know if they actually. I think, you know, they would have a space station of some kind, because we saw that was what Fury was helping the Skrulls build at the end of Far From Home. So I think they would have some kind of. I mean, I imagine it looks. I mean, I imagine it physically exists somewhat in the same sense as the Shadow Proclamation. How the Shadow Proclamation is like a tall tower with two like gravitational rocks orbiting it and stuff. I imagine it exists somewhat like that. But maybe it floats through space. Maybe it stays in one place. I don't know. But I imagine it exists physically somewhat like that. But then it actually does exist as that kind of organization that is a shield for both Earth and space. So I think, yes, I mean, I don't know how far that kind of like threat prevention actually extends to. Like if they actually help other planets too, or if it's just like, you know, like they're in space but they're monitoring extraterrestrial threats that could come to space. So they're still kind of primarily designed to protect Earth too. So that's fun. And yeah, all new threats. I think in the wake of Thanos, they've come to realize exactly like a little bit more of what's really out there. Like, you know, Thanos is like the last of the Titans, and he had the biggest army in the universe and everything. And even in Endgame, when we actually saw the full extent of his army, like in Infinity War, it was just like it was just Outriders and that was it. But with this one, with Endgame, we actually had like, you know, we saw the Chitauri, Sicarians, and big space apes and everything. or guerrillas or whatever, but we actually saw the full extent of his army. So I think upon seeing that, people then thought, okay, this is just like a portion of what's out there, so we need to be ready for anything going forward now. So now they really are. So sword is cool. And yeah, Westview. So Westview was a real place. Where Westview, New Jersey, was a real town, but it was it was taken over by Wanda. It was taken over by Wanda, and taken over in a way that, on the one hand, it wiped it off the map. So like, or at least like not literally, but it wiped it off the map of anyone who wasn't already in Westview. So those two police officers, sheriffs, I mean, had no idea what it was. Had no idea where it was or what it was. I mean, even with the board being there, like, they just had no memory of Westview, New Jersey, ever existing to begin with, even though the town was literally right behind them, all, existing and crap. So it was like, I think they mentioned it was like a selective amnesia. So I think if you're not, if you're not already in the town, you kind of somewhat forget that it exists or ignore that it exists. But then you can still enter. You can still enter. No, yeah. So Wanda's kind of force field thing, it took over everyone who was already inside, and they can't leave because Wanda doesn't want them to, because they're a part of Wanda's new fantasy. They're a part of this new reality she's created. So yeah. So then the force field is a way to keep what's inside invisible to the outside, because obviously on the inside it started off being in like the 50s and the 60s, but then on the outside it still looks like it's modern day-ish. So there's that. So then there's that whole filter going on to like a perception filter of sorts. But then yeah, so the force field, and again, like the force field, like we got like a closer look at it. Actually, it looks like like an old-fashioned kind of TV screen pixelation fuzziness type of thing going on. So we had that, but then, yeah, so the force field, so it doesn't stop you from going in. You can send people in, you can send objects in, you can do all that stuff. It doesn't stop you from going in, but whether or not you stay is up to Wanda. Whether or not you actually stay is up to Wanda. So Wanda, if she feels like you're trespassing, like she did with Geraldine towards the end, if she feels like you don't belong there, or that you're disrupting the peace or causing some kind of trouble, then she will happily boot you out, never to be seen again. So yeah, so it lets you in, and it also adapts you. It lets you in and it adapts you, because like we saw, that the helicopter actually looked like a drone beforehand, but then once it actually got into the force field, it adapted visually. Also rendered it useless. It actually turned. So I think with that one, it actually, because the world that Wanda created was originally set in the 50s, it actually, adapted it to that time. Like you would not have anything near drone-like in the 50s. Like they did not have that kind of technology there. But I think maybe like toy helicopters, maybe. I don't know when when remote control helicopters were first released, like toy helicopters. I mean, you probably wouldn't have remote control ones, but you could probably have like, toy ones that you could fly in your hand and stuff. So then it transforms into that, and it maintains the color somewhat too. So that was that. And then the beekeeper one, he wasn't originally a beekeeper. He was in like a hazmat suit of some kind, so he wasn't originally like that. But then once he actually, so then the field that Wanda has set up, it even goes underground. It kind of cuts through the sewers, and even kind of catches you out there. So once he passed through, the cable attached to him slipped off, and then he transformed into a beekeeper. So then that's how he got there. But then Geraldine. So then Monica became Geraldine, but then, so then I wondered, like, so she adapted, especially visually. She got like a new hairdo and new clothes, and she looked very much suited for that kind of time period. But then, I wonder if this kind of, so on the outside, like outside of Westview, you forget that the town exists, or at least you forget that the town exists in that way. But then once you're inside, maybe I think it definitely has to give you like a new identity, a new life, because we saw with the other neighborhood people like Norm and Herb and Agnes and Mr. and Mrs. Hearttooth from the beginning. Like with all of them, they had their own names. They actually had original names to them. They were already real people, but then once they were caught inside of Wanda's trap, they were actually given new names, new identities, and new roles in this show. So once you're inside, I think it then forces you. So I think in that sense, Geraldine was a little bit less of an undercover agent and just one like a person who walked into town and was you know, then like caught up in Wanda's charade, and she actually was like randomly assigned a new name and a new life and everything. So she didn't have a background there. Like Wanda could not give her like a whole new background, I don't think. But then the others like were already paired up and had people of their own that they could actually rely on and bounce back and forth with their new identities. So Geraldine didn't really have much of that. And yeah, we actually meet Darcy and Jimmy Woo again. We actually see them again, which was cool. They make for a great duo. Like, for the moments they shared, they made a really, really great duo. And even Darcy getting invested, like towards the end of it, you know, Darcy saying, like, you know, I can't believe they had twins. Like, you know, what? I'm invested. Like, because like they actually managed to like Darcy actually managed to tap into the inside like the town's actual television feed, and she even like detected that, you know, like the radiation that was coming. I think the radiation that she said was being emitted from the force field, it sounded familiar to me. Like it sounded similar to like what old TVs, you know, like were known to emit. And I don't know if TVs now do it, but now we've upgraded and managed to get even new models. And I love that she actually specified. I mean, she would have to, but at the same time, I love that she actually had to specify what kind of TV she wanted. Like, you know, don't give me like a flat screen or like a curved TV. That won't work. I need like an old-fashioned TV with the really small aspect ratio and everything. So, so by the end of it, they actually got like a few of those, like a good few of those in different corners to monitor everything going on. So, yeah. But yeah, Darcy and Jimmy being in this was great, and seeing them both back after so long too, because we haven't seen Darcy since Thor 2. That was the last time we saw her, and Jimmy Woo hasn't been here since Ant-Man and the Wasp. So seeing those two in this environment too, I think it makes sense because Darcy is like, you know, familiar with Thor. She's very familiar with like the space stuff, and she's, you know, she's familiar with, like, she's by no means like an expert on Asgardians or anything like that, but she's like an astrophysicist, like she said, so she's familiar with like how some of these things work. And Jimmy, you know, Ant-Man and the Wasp, he saw Scott enlarge and he was keeping track on him, so he's like, and he's FBI, so he's definitely, and I think I like that she actually mentioned that too, like this kind of phenomenon like of a missing persons case has become so extravagant, so excessive, that they've actually managed to get multiple intelligence agencies in to actually monitor this and find out what the fuck's actually going on. So yeah, but seeing Jimmy and Darcy in this was cool. So yeah, hopefully we can actually get more from them. And it was cool seeing how they actually tried to connect into the world too. Like Darcy actually, you know, managed to, you know, deduce that, you know, if they could actually establish communication with Wanda through the radios, and then we actually find out that it was actually Jimmy's voice. It was Jimmy Woo's voice, like him saying, "Who's doing this to you, Wanda? What was happening? Where are you?" and all that stuff. So yeah. And then yeah, by the end of it, we actually do see exactly how how Wanda actually did that, how Wanda actually booted her on. I think that final scene, right, especially when the aspect ratio changed, it went back to like a, you know, like I think it's like a 16:9. I think that's what it's called. Like it actually went to the typical Marvel movie aspect ratio that we're actually used to. It actually showed us exactly what Wanda booting Monica out actually looked like. She actually used her powers to blast her through the walls and then out through the greenery and out through the force field again. So yeah, and also like she controls the time too, because when she's flying across the town, it's daytime, but then as soon as she hits the force field and goes out, it's immediately nighttime, because we know, you know, like they're investigating this all through the night and setting up camp. So yeah, but then Wanda, like she yeah, and then by the end of it, Monica actually declared that it's Wanda. It's all Wanda. It's all Wanda's powers. And I think up until now, I think it was fairly safe to assume that, you know, someone else could have been doing this to Wanda. Someone else could have been manipulating Wanda, or maybe like feeding off of her emotions that were driving these powers and everything, and driving these actions. But you know, like Monica declaring that it was all Wanda, and that Wanda was in charge and behind of all of this. I think I think it makes equal amounts of sense to me, and I think especially what cemented that for me, what cemented it was definitely seeing Vision's dead body. I have to tell you, seeing Vision's dead body, a zombie Vision. See, it was basically a zombie Vision. It was Vision's dead body from Infinity War, all grayscaled, and a huge chunk of his freaking forehead taken out where the Mind Stone used to be, which is exactly what Thanos did to him. seeing that, I think that cemented that it was all Wanda, because Wanda wants this new reality so badly. She is willing to go wherever she needs to go, like willing to do whatever she needs to do to actually make this new reality, to actually live this life. And I think seeing Vision's body like that, it reminded me of what I read, like what Paul Bettany mentioned in like an interview that I read a while ago, that like originally there were drafts that they made for like a post-credit scene for Endgame, and one of those drafts was actually Wanda finding Vision's body in a body bag, finding his lifeless kind of holy body in a body bag. So I wonder, like, if they had actually made that real, that then I feel like maybe, just maybe, that could have tied into WandaVision, like her seeing Vision's dead body, like being reminded of what they could have had, being reminded of what she did have with Vision, could have then motivated her even further to actually be like, no, I'm actually, I have these powers, I'm gonna make this reality a thing, I'm gonna live this life that I want, and stuff like that, because I think the one issue I've had is there being such a jump from her ending in Endgame. Like literally the last thing we see of her in Endgame is her at the funeral, is her at Stark's funeral, and there's no sign from there on in what's gonna happen. Like there's no sign what's gonna happen to her, what she's gonna do. Like with like characters like with we actually have like an opening for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because then we actually see Steve handing the shield over to Sam, so then we actually get the opening for that. Like he's gonna try and become the new Captain America, but he's gonna try and become the new Captain America. But with Wanda, there's no sign of where she's gonna go from here, what she's gonna do. It's just all of a sudden, oh, we're getting a new TV series, we're getting a new Disney Plus series. It's gonna be called WandaVision. Vision's back somehow. But now with this one, with this ending scene, with what we see of how Wanda dealt with the aftermath of kicking out Geraldine, we see that she likely reanimated Vision's body. She likely reanimated Vision's dead body to suit her needs, and then she actually built this life around it. And she even looks like as soon as she sees Vision's dead body, she's then reminded of what really happened. Like she's reminded of the actual reality of the situation, that Vision is dead and he's not coming back. And then she looks away and uses her powers again, and then actually sees him alive and well and all full of color and a mind stone in his forehead and everything. So yeah, I think that further cements that Wanda is in fact in charge of this reality, and that she is actually, she's actually doing this. She's doing this, and then even with Geraldine, like her having mentioned Ultron and everything, like that's not something anyone in this reality, in this neighborhood, should know. So that means that Geraldine is not her neighbor, not her friend. Like that line broke my heart. You're not my neighbor, and you're definitely not my friend. Like that line just seemed so ice cold and rejecting, and everything. And then she actually brings out her powers and then says that, okay, if you're neither of those things, that means you're trespassing, and then you need to leave. So then she literally pushes her out the door, pushes her through the walls even, and blasts her out. So yeah. So now what I wonder is how they're gonna move forward now, because now Monica has declared it's Wanda, it's all Wanda. So now them having that information, having that kind of intel, because I think there's no reason that they can't trust Monica, because she's been on the inside longer than anyone else has, and she was personally kicked out by Wanda herself after she revealed information that, revealed that she wasn't actually originally from this town and she's not meant to be here. So, so now I wonder how Sword and everyone else is actually going to move forward, knowing that Wanda's in control, Wanda's powers are what's driving this force forward, and also that Wanda's determined to keep things the way she wants them, and that she's very, very much willing to actually kick out anyone who she feels doesn't really belong there. So I wonder how they're going to move forward, because then that makes me afraid that they're just going to villainize her again, because I think she already faced I think she faced pretty much the tip of the iceberg when it came to being villainized in Civil War, after she lost control of her powers and caused the explosion that killed everyone, and then the Accords came through and all that jibber jabber happened. So now with this, with her now creating an alternate reality that messes with the minds of people inside and outside, and also kind of threatens and also because I think the world, the force field that encapsulates the world, is releasing radiation, and Darcy said that as of right now, it's not really too bad, but it could spread. I think she mentioned it could actually spread. So then they have to worry about that. But then also it's just a matter of, you know, what could this do to Westview? What could this do to Earth? Like if this keeps going, like what could this kind of alternation of reality do to the actual reality we actually currently live in? Like what could it do to us? Could it damage could it damage the Earth in some way? Could it damage us in some way? The people inside are still people with lives of their own that they deserve to live. But I don't know what's gonna happen. But this seems like some pretty strong House of M stuff, and it seems like some pretty strong kind of like, you know, like Wanda using her own kind of mental state to drive her powers forward. Like she so badly wants to be able to live a normal life, but then at this point we realize she's doing it at the cost of others losing theirs. So yeah, I don't know how they're gonna move forward with this. I think I'm hoping they don't actually move into any kind of mission to neutralize Wanda or to take her out. Because I mean, they can't. We wouldn't have to be afraid of that. But but then at the same time, like I don't want them to villainize Wanda again. Like they've already identified that it's two former Avengers, Wanda and Vision. I mean, even Darcy mentioned, like, you know, I'm pretty sure that guy's dead. Like he actually had his head crushed in by Thanos, and he wasn't blipped away or something. He's actually properly fully dead. So I don't know how that's happening, but they know it's two former Avengers who are, you know, in charge of all of this, or at least one who's in charge of all of this. So I'm hoping they actually do kind of give a chance to. I mean, I think whatever bad stuff is happening on the outside, I'm hoping they actually re-establish communications. I'm hoping they re-establish communication so that they can actually get through to her and tell her what's happening and what kind of damage this new reality is causing, and also encourage her to actually come to grips with what Vision's state really is and what the world really is and stuff like that. So I don't know, but yeah, it's a mess now. Things are gonna start picking up from here, and it's gonna be an even messier mess. That much I can predict. But yeah, I mean, I think just for the most part, it's good to see S.W.O.R.D. actually being like an already established kind of division. I think it would be cool if we could actually get like a flashback to Maria actually building S.W.O.R.D. for the first time, or actually putting together this kind of agency and what she did to do that and who she did it with. Like how we have the SSR and Agent Carter as some semblance of backstory for how of how Peggy actually worked with others to actually build up S.H.I.E.L.D. and how we know that, you know, S.H.I.E.L.D. That Peggy and Howard worked together with the US government to actually build up S.H.I.E.L.D. and, you know, make it what it is and stuff. So with S.W.O.R.D., I think it would be cool to see. It would be cool if we get some kind of backstory setting like that. But for this one, I think it's very, very suitable that we see it's already an established thing. Because I think, again, you know, in the wake of the blip and in the wake of the Thanos stuff and everything that's happened so far, I think it's less like there's less need right now for us to know how it started, and more necessity for us to just know it's a thing. There are people here. They're designed for this. Like it is their job to protect us against threats from Earth or space, and especially from threats from space. So it's here now. Like we already have like some kind of a replacement for S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything. So that's cool. So then I wonder if maybe Maria worked with Fury then. That I can't help but wonder that, because no, she wouldn't have. No, because no, that would be wrong. No, but then I wonder. No, because Fury was blipped away. Yeah. Okay, that wouldn't work. No, that wouldn't work. But then I think Fury, knowing Fury, he would be. I think knowing Fury, him and Maria would have a similar mindset. Fury, after having like Fury, especially since he was taken out by this big new threat that came to Earth, he would believe that S.H.I.E.L.D. is gone now, or at least it's under the shadows. Well, like wherever it is, S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing its own thing, if it's even still a thing after the end of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But regardless, we need an agency actually dedicated from the get-go into dealing with extraterrestrial threats that might threaten Earth. So then he would have a similar mindset to Maria, so he would have a look around, and then he might stumble up, and then after that he might stumble upon this S.W.O.R.D. agency that Maria started, that Maria kickstarted, and then he actually might help carry it on in her name. He might help, he might pass the word on to the Skrulls, and then actually help them build a station up in space and everything. So I think Fury would actually be of that same mindset. So he might go forth and try and think of ways to do something like this, and then he might stumble upon Sword and find out that Maria Rambeau, who he worked with way back when in Captain Marvel, like she actually kickstarted this program, this agency, and then he might carry it forth with his own powers at hand. So yeah, that is cool to think about. And I think Sword, especially like one of the first, like at least one of the first cases where like we see them work, being WandaVision, really goes to show really goes to show their kind of investigative prowess and exactly how good they are at detecting anomalies and threats and kind of identifying them and analyzing them and evaluating what they need to do. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun seeing how they actually move forward with the whole WandaVision kind of issue and exactly what happens from here on out. So yeah. But yeah, that is it. That is pretty much all I've got from this episode. This was so much fun. This was a really, really fun episode, and I think it was a nice enough break from the typical WandaVision stuff, from the typical sitcom stuff. It was a nice enough break, and it definitely gave us a good glimpse at what's actually going on the outside, who's out there, what are they doing, and how far are they with their investigating and everything. So it was cool to see that, and it was cool to finally see Sword, and to finally see a bit, like a little bit of Monica's backstory. Like the opening to this alone was so damn good, so well done. I think I was worried because I think the first 3 episodes we've actually had the Marvel Studios intro actually popping up, so then when that didn't happen I was like, okay, is it glitching, is it what? But no, we actually have like another opening scene that shows us like another flashback of people coming back from the blip. So that was a really, really well executed opening that had me on the edge of my seat, my heart pounding, like, oh, we're actually referencing the blip again. So it's actually a little bit more of like a personal opening too, like showing us what Monica gets back, but also what she loses in that time too. So yeah, so that was fun. And yeah, I think it's easily the best opening the show's had so far. I think it's easily the best opening the show's had, actually showing us not just something different, but something that's actually so heart-poundingly different, and actually gives us it gives us something a little bit more personalized to one of the side characters. So it was very well done, and yeah, going forward we can see hopefully more of Jimmy and Darcy working together and doing their own thing, and Sword doing their thing, and Monica hopefully feeding back some intel. Like, if she remembers anything, because I think the one thing she said was that it was all Wanda, but I do wonder if she actually remembers much else from the inside, if she can remember like what the other people were like, what Wanda and Vision were like, what life was like, if she can actually feed them any intel like that. So we have to wait and see until next week for that. But yeah, I'm gonna go, and I'm just gonna wallow in sorrow, and just wallow in mourning at having lost Maria Rambeau. I don't think I'm ever gonna get over that. I honestly do not think I'm ever gonna get over the fact that Marvel actually had the audacity to kill off Maria Rambeau off screen. Like we didn't even get like an older actress cast for Maria Rambeau, or even Lashana Lynch herself coming back and playing like a increased age kind of Maria Rambeau. Like, even that, like, we didn't even get like a death scene. We just get like an off-screen kind of mention that Maria's gone because of cancer. So I'm gonna be heavily upset because of that. For at least this is gonna be a heavily upsetting weekend. This is gonna be a really upsetting weekend because I'm not gonna be able to get that out of my head, and it's gonna take a while for me to get over. But that's Marvel. Marvel does what they want when they want, with little to no regard for their audience members' feelings. So yeah, but that sucks. That sucks, the great big one. And R.I.P. to Maria Rambeau, though. R.I.P. She did, even in her last years, she did something worthwhile. She actually managed to kickstart this agency that her daughter is now one of the highest kind of members of. She's Captain Monica Rambeau. She's a high-ranking member of it, and she carried on this kind of legacy in her name. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they continue to handle Monica's character in this series and where her character goes. And that makes me all the more excited and anxious also to see her in Captain Marvel 2, seeing where that story takes over and how Carol reacts to Maria's death, to her friend's death. And I think especially like with Carol too, because then with Carol especially, like, her powers prevent her from aging the same way as everyone else. So, like, had she not been on that test flight mission, had she not been given the powers from the power core, from the plane, had she not become a Kree, she would have aged the same way as Maria and grown old with her, and maybe she might have still seen her die, but I don't know. I don't know. This is making me hurt. This is actually hurting me. It's hurting me to think. It's giving me a headache and a heartache. It's giving me two kinds of aches. It's giving me two kinds of aches. But no, give me your thoughts. Leave all of your thoughts as always on what you thought of the episode, what you think of Maria's passing, and how you personally think they handled Maria's departure from the story, and what your thoughts are. But yeah, that is it. That is pretty much all I have from this episode. So that was Marvel's WandaVision Season 1, Episode 4. So thank you guys, as always, for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what your theories are, what you think is going to be happening moving forward, what your thoughts are on Maria's death, like I said, and the kind of Sword stuff, what you think of Sword and Jimmy and Darcy's first appearances, and everything that happened in this episode. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And once again, the full-length reaction will be over on Patreon, so you can go catch that over there. And yeah, that is it. So, I will see you guys next time.